Okay, good afternoon, YouTube. I guess it's evening now. Anyway, good evening, YouTube. DK here with Mr. V Amps. A little tired today. I had to go get a haul of amplifiers, but that's not going to stop us from checking some things out and working on them. But I am taking the easy way out. Our last haul here today brings us 4 amplifiers, 2 of which I think will be particularly interesting to the channel, and 2 that probably will be less interesting. But hey, we've got 2 from the USA and 2 from Japan, so here's one from Japan. This is a Yamaha 5112, so they spell out 50 and then put 112 after it. And this has a reverb on it, which from what I understand the earlier ones had reverbs and the later ones did not, I think. Go try to find a Yamaha Amp Collectors Guild. I haven't found one yet. So obviously I could tell it's earlier because we've got the on-off-on, or yeah, type power switch. So I'm guessing we're going to have a 2-prong power plug, which would put this more likely in the 70s than the 80s. But let's spin it around and see what the back has to offer. The front, we've got volume, bass, middle, treble, bright. Okay, distortion and reverb are labeled knobs, and the inputs are labeled high and low. Physically, looks to be in really good shape, just dust. But from what I understand, some of the transistors in here are not readily available as replacements if they're smoked. But for all I know, this amp works perfectly fine. This was purchased in unknown conditions. Okay, so looking at the back of here, somebody stuffed egg crate foam in here. I'm certain that wasn't factory, but I don't know, maybe they were trying to I don't know, make some, I don't know. And then there's some kind of rubber strip down here on the floor, and I don't know what that does, if it did anything. But okay, so switches back here for reverb and distortion on off, I guess. Record out, so it's probably like a preamp out. And then we have a primary and a secondary fuse that are supposed to be 2 amps. The speaker says it is a Yamaha JA3059 for musical instruments, 8 ohms. And let's see. Fuse number 1 looks to not be blown, and it is a 2 amp fuse. We're off to a good start. But of course it doesn't want to go back in the fuse holder. There it goes. Okay, and let's see what fuse number 2 is. Because we might just plug this in and be real surprised. Okay, so this does have a three-prong cord on it, despite it had that on-off-on business on the power. It does have a 3-prong power cord. I wouldn't think that this would be a replacement if this was 70s, you know. Okay, so the second fuse is not blown, and it is also a 2 amp. So appropriate fuses are in here. That's good. That's a good sign. So I'm thinking we probably won't have a horrible explosion when we turn it on. So let's plug it in and turn it on and see if it explodes. Okay, so we're turned back around. Let's turn the pots here to, I guess, middle, and distortion down, and we'll turn the reverb down. So, and then we just flip the switch and see what happens, I guess. The light turns on, and I do not see a puff of smoke at this time. And I hear a little bit of, I hear noise coming from other appliances down here. It is now the springtime, and therefore we have dehumidifiers, because that's what you need in springtime, right? So, okay. Let's get our test lead here, plug into the high gain channel, of course, because we're riding high and living dangerous. Little thumb on the tip action here. Good grief, that's loud. Let's try the low. Okay. Seems fine. Let's take a little gain. Bass pot works and is quiet. Middle pot seems to work and is quiet. Treble pot definitely works a lot and is quiet. Bright works and is quiet. What the world? I was expecting like these things to pop or crackle or something. Distortion. Here we go. Here's going to be an ugly sound. Oh, it's got. This is an on-off. It's got a clicker. Okay, well it does something, and then reverb. Let's turn that up and. Oh yeah. Okay, so after buying a bunch of crap at the auction that we didn't know whether it worked or did work or didn't work, we're off to a really good start with this Yamaha 50112. All the functions seem to work, and the pots aren't noisy. So other than dust, I don't see anything wrong with it at this point. The grill cloth is all together. The Tolex is in good shape. It's got a couple of really minor scratches and nicks, so we're going to give this a bath and a thorough test, but let's go get a guitar and hear how it sounds. Okay, so we have a guitar. I'm plugged into the low gain input, and the first thing I will tell you is this amplifier has loud. It has loud. I mean lots of loud. It has acceptable bass, but that treble's a little bright, and it's probably on account of the reverb being turned on too. But I've got the volume on 1, and I think it's probably all the camera can handle. I'm gonna guess that might have fizzed out the camera, but at this point everything looks good. Let's see what this distortion channel's by. Let's turn the reverb down. Let's get a real good feel of this distortion circuit. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's more of a fuzz circuit than it is a distortion circuit. But yeah, it's actually not atrocious. It's a little dark. It sounds like a fuzz, so that's cool. So, just like a fuzz, it kind of works better on single notes than it does on chords, but it's funny because whenever you hear about a solid state amp with distortion, everybody automatically says, well, it has to sound horrible, but right out of the gate, I'm pleased. I mean, our volume pot is silent. Now, I've got a whoosh now, but I'm turned halfway up, and this thing would be deafening. It was loud enough at 1 for just sitting around here. Bass pot is dead silent. Mid pot is dead silent. Treble pot is dead silent. Bright pot is dead silent. Distortion is, well, other than making its whooshy noise. And the reverb pot is dead silent. So, what more do I have to do to this other than clean it? I don't know. Well, let's see. How much... Let's turn the reverb all the way up. And let's go into the higher gain channel just for my own humor. There we go. I think that's more my cable than the amplifier's fault here. I'll check that, but this is a scrap cable we have laying around. So I've got it in the higher gain. I've got the volume down real low. And I've got the reverb up to 10, so let's see if it surfs. Oh yeah. Yeah, I would say it surfs. Almost. Doesn't quite get to the drip. It's real close. It's real close. So, Yeah, these were, admittedly, you know, I had no idea what to expect from this because I've never played one of these probably late 70s Yamahas before, but I think the other Yamaha we had was like 80s, mid 80s, I think, and that one was fine. That was a little darker. This one's a little brighter. It's kind of bright and cheery, and it's kind of spanky. The distortion, like I say, is kind of a fuzz. It sounds like it's maybe a little bit behind the times of what the music was in the day that it came out, but this is a perfectly usable amp. It's more than loud enough for the places I play, and you know, depending on whether or not I would, admittedly, just because of the style I choose, I would probably, instead of using the fuzz, maybe put a pedal in front of it. But the pedal platform, why not? I mean, we're good to go, right? Cool. So I'm just going to drone on just with my thoughts on the amp, but there's going to be no repair video. There's just going to be a give it a bath time, which I don't think anybody really wants to see or cares to see, because if it's not broke and I don't have to fix it, I won't. Everything on this works properly, so I'm just going to clean it, and we're going to do kind of a burn-in. We're just going to let it run for a while and make sure it doesn't develop any new issues. Make sure it's cooling properly, check a couple temperatures on the back to make sure, you know, the transistors aren't out of balance and getting flaming hot. But if it's not broke, we don't fix it. So we'll be back real soon with another thing from the auction. Maybe something broken, maybe. There's still 3 more amps. I'm sure something's broken. And for those of you who stuck around to the end of the video, there's the speaker cone. The grill is velcroed on like a Peavey, I guess I'd say. But there it is. Looks a lot like a vintage Jensen, doesn't it? Well, it's a Japansen, I guess. Thanks for watching.